So Paul's main message really comes at the end of chapter 2, after he's gone through and defended himself, not for his own ego, but to establish the authority of his message, that he was a full apostle from God, that his message was agreed and affirmed by the apostles, but it wasn't derived from or in any way questioned by. Once he'd established that, he gets to the main thrust of the letter, which comes at the end of chapter 2. And really, the kind of, I suppose, the core verse there is verse 20, where he says, I've been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. And the life that I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. And that verse encapsulates so much. He's pointing to the Son of God who loved him and gave himself for us. And so the death of Christ, the crucifixion, right at the center of the gospel. And Paul's identifying with that and saying, when Christ died, I died. My old life is over. The me that was about me is finished. But now I'm living, and yet it's him living in me. And so that Christ in me, me in Christ, that in Christ kind of theology, a theology of union in Christ, if you like, that's the heart of Paul's gospel throughout his letters. And so in Galatians, his message really is that, to look to Christ, to trust him, and then by faith, not by works in any sense, but by faith in Christ and what he's done for us, we then receive the promised Spirit, 3:14, and then the Spirit within us, uniting us to Christ, stirs within us the cry of Abba, Father, which we see at the start of chapter 4. And so really, his main message is a message about the Trinity. It's a message that God the Father, the Son, and the Spirit are at work in our lives through the gospel, bringing us into relationship with the Trinity.